Good evening and welcome. Tonight's reading will be Dr. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And as we are starting this new reading off, I'd like to give thanks to everyone who had made this possible. All of the sponsors, all of the family members, all of the friends, and all of those who said I couldn't do it, because you guys pushed me too. But without further ado, I'd like to tune in to a little bit Dr. Joe. So, this was published by Hay House Incorporated. They're beautiful publishers. They have many different publishings that I highly recommend you check out. Dr. Joe also wrote a couple other books, Evolve Your Brain, and You Are the Placebo, and the newest one, Becoming Supernatural. This is, I believe, the second in the installment of the series, but there's no other better place to start than breaking the habit of being yourself. If you want a little bit of the science background, you might want to read You Are the Placebo, but I don't think you necessarily need to go there unless you're going to dive really deep into this material. The foreword is written by a doctor named Daniel G. Aman, MD. He is a fabulous gentleman. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him in person, but I've listened to a lot of his talks. I've seen some of his work, so yeah. And like I said, without further ado, let's begin our reading here. Let's bring the microphone a little closer. Okay. Your brain is involved in everything you do, including how you think, how you feel, how you act, and how well you get along with other people. It's an organ of personality, character, intelligence, and every decision you make. From my brain imaging work with tens of thousands of patients worldwide over the past 20 years, it is very clear to me that when your brain works right, you work right. And when your brain is troubled, you are more likely to have trouble in your life. When a healthier brain, you are happier. Physically healthier, wealthier, wiser, and you just make better decisions, which helps you be more successful and live longer. When the brain is not healthy for whatever reason, such as a head injury or past emotional trauma, people are sadder, sicker, poorer, less wise, and less successful. It is easy to understand how trauma can hurt the brain. But researchers have also seen how negative thinking and bad programming from our past can also affect it. For example, I grew up with an older brother whose intent was on shoving me around. The constant tension and fear I felt when I led to a higher level of anxiety. Anxious thinking patterns, and always being on guard, never knowing when something bad was about to happen. This fear caused long-term overactivity in my brain's fear centers until I was able to work through it in a later life. In Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, my colleague, Dr. Joe Dispenza, is your guide to optimize both the hardware and the software of your brain to help you reach a new state of mind. His book is based on solid science, and he continues to speak with kindness and wisdom as he did in the award-winning film, What the Bleep Do We Know? And in his first book, Evolve Your Brain, even though I think the brain is like a computer, with both hardware and software, the hardware being the actual functioning of the brain, is not separate from the software or the computer consistent programming and reshaping that occurs throughout our lives. They have dramatic impact on each other. Most of us have had trauma of some kind in our lives and live with the day-to-day scars that have resulted. Cleaning out those experiences that have become part of the brain's structure can be incredibly healing. Of course, engaging in brain-healthy habits such as proper diet and exercise and certain brain nutrients is critical to the right working of a brain. But in addition, your moment-by-moment thoughts exert a powerful healing effect on the brain, or they can work to your detriment. The same is true for the past experiences that become wired in the brain. The study we do at the Amen's clinic called brain SPECT imaging. Excuse me. SPECT is single photon emission computed tomography, or tomographically. It's a nuclear medicine study that looks at the blood flow and activity patterns. It is different from CT scans or MRI, which examine the brain's anatomy, because SPECT looks at the brain's function. Our SPECT work now, over 70,000 scans, has taught us many important lessons about the brain, such as brain injuries can ruin people's lives. Alcohol is not a healthy food and often shows significant damage on SPECT scans. The number of medications people routinely take, such as some common anti-anxiety medications, are not good for the brain. And diseases like Alzheimer's actually start in the brain decades before people have any symptoms. SPECT scans have also taught us that us as a society, we need to have much more love and respect for the brain, and that allowing our children to play contact sports such as football and or hockey is not a smart idea. One of the most exciting lessons I have learned is that people can literally change their brains and change their lives by engaging in regular brain healthy habits, such as correcting negative beliefs and using meditative processes such as those discussed by Dr. Joe Dispenza. In one series of studies we published, the practice of meditation, such as what Dr. Joe Dispenza recommends, boosts blood flow to the prefrontal cortex. That's the most powerful part of the human brain. After 8 weeks of daily meditation, the prefrontal cortex at rest was stronger, and the memories of our subjects were better too. There are also many ways to heal and optimize the brain. My hope is that, like me, you will develop brain envy and want a better functioning brain. The brain imaging work we do has ever changed my life and changed everything around me. shortly after I started ordering SPEC scans in 1991, I decided to look at my own brain. I was 37 years old. When I saw a toxic, bumpy appearance, I knew it was not healthy. All of my life, I had been someone who had rarely drank alcohol, never smoked, never used any illegal drug. Then why did my brain look so bad? I ate lots of fast food, drank diet soda, like she was my best friend, only slept 4 to 5 hours a night, carried unexamined hurts from the past, I didn't exercise, chronically felt stressed, carried an extra 30 pounds. Why didn't I know what was hurting me? And not just a little. My last scans looked healthier and much younger than it did 20 years earlier. My brain literally aged backwards. That's how changeable your brain is. When you make up your mind to take care of it properly, after seeing my original scan, I wanted my brain to be better. This book will help yours be better too. I hope you enjoys reading it as much as I did. Daniel G. Amen, MD, author of Changing Your Brain, Changing Your Life. Now, with that being said, guys, there's a lot of knowledge up there. I want to leave you with the small little nugget that you can always change. It's never too late, no matter what your predicament may seem like, no matter how bad your body may seem, no matter how bad your brain or your situation or your finances or whatever you're going through. It can always get better. It can always change. And I want you to focus on that. Focus on the fact that you can change. And just look for the signs and slowly follow those signs. You won't get to a destination unless you start a journey. So I invite you, as the new year rings in their calendar, if you look at that way, to look at change in a different way. To look at your brain in a different way. What are you thinking on a daily basis? How are you acting? Who are you being? I love you. This is dedicated to my children, Nico, Atia, and Axel. I hope you guys get to see this. Tune in, listen to Daddy. I'll be doing this Saturday nights, broadcasting live here from my living room. Aloha.